Hello, everyone. This week's episode of Detached, it's pretty epic, I must say. We have Upmind here. Yeah.
Let's go, Upmind.
Let's go.
Hey, gamers.
Yeah.
Gamers. Damn, okay. Hi.
We're gaming, aren't we?
I mean,
Yeah,
not right now.
I mean, if you try to hop on Apex or something after this, maybe. Who knows?
Okay,
Who
I
knows?
see.
But yeah, we're here with Upmind, and we're also here with the occasional person who comes on here pretty much every single time, Akarian. I'm taking over the show today.
The co-host for the day. I'm the co-host for the day. I'm
the co-host for today. But yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with Upmind, why not you introduce yourself, Upmind, to those?
Sure. I feel like I'm walking into like a budget Eric Andre show at the moment, where I got my Hannibal Buress and I got my Eric Andre right next to me. So I'm gonna keep it straight and simple, just so I don't get pranked. Yes, hello. My name is Gus, aka Upmind. I'm an esports commentator and sports commentator. You guys might know me from doing Valorant stuff. I come from a Super Smash Brothers background, which is why I know Mr. Mental here. And yeah, that's other than the obvious thing that me being like a Bob Ross cosplayer, like I'm pretty chill, I guess.
I'm still looking forward to the Bob Ross stream.
It's gonna happen at some point, because it has
that
to
needs
come
to
at a
happen.
perfect time. Like, someone has to give me a fat bag for that Bob Ross cosplay to happen, because I know for a fact that it will blow up.
Yeah,
Because it's the direct connection, right?
Yeah, gotta have that as a sub goal.
100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, 100K and I'll do it. Like,
I mean, y'all, if y'all want to see this happen, Upmind's Twitch will be in the description down below.
yeah, give him $100,000 while you're at it.
100,000. Absolutely.
I know one of you is some sort of oil miner, whatever, out of the Middle East. Any Oilers? Any Oilers want to give me
Any
just
Oilers
a plain
in chat?
$100,000?
I mean, I do have a couple of Nigerian princes in my spam inbox, so those are probably going to help out with that donation goal. But yeah.
So, per interview thing, we got a bunch of questions lined up for you here, bud. Some things that are kind of like typical, but other things it's either they're written down and they're kind of like things that are more tailored toward more you personally, or it's just something that you say and it just inspires me to think, oh, this would be a good question here, actually. So, I mean, the first one, this is like a tried and true, you've been doing casting for a very long time. So I honestly am curious, what got you into doing casting specifically?
So the story is weird to start off with. I would like to think that every step of my casting career is something weird. Like something like really stupid happens, and then that ends up becoming like a new page in like my stupid anime protagonist series. So it's like at the beginning, I was this. I was just looking to get into esports, like just trying to help out like organizations and all that, just trying to scout. So I ended up joining Sinai Village, an organization that literally like 2 years later I was the CEO of, but I digress. At the beginning, I was brought on as a like a content creator manager, like a streamer manager, and we had a FIFA team. Of all the esports, we only had one esport going, and it was fucking FIFA. So they wanted me to like stream one of their games, and it's soccer. So it's like it's very easy to follow. And at this time, I was working for my local television station, actually, just recording like football games and all that. And I decided to actually commentate over the FIFA. Although I wasn't asked to, I kind of did it as a joke, but like people were like, maybe you should pursue this or like do it again next time. So I just kept improving on that, and somehow that ended up into this. It's a lot of steps, but that was how I ended up getting into it.
That's actually I did not expect that as the answer, the whole FIFA thing.
No.
That's actually really cool. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's weird because again, like nowadays I'm doing tactical FPSs and Smash and like real life sports. So like maybe it could have been expected, like just because of the fact that I go to a sports casting school, you could be like, this guy started in sports, but no, I started fucking FIFA.
I mean, look, that's halfway there, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a simulation, so
Yeah.
it works.
I mean, people do that with like NBA and stuff, so you know, like
True.
2K. Yeah.
True.
But you had said like tactical FPSs. I remember we were talking what was it? It was like it was I believe it's Tampa Never Sleeps, right? Or was it? Yeah.
It was TNS.
Yeah, I remember we had talked because I had done a one thing where it was I had tried forming a commentary guide for Smash content for different
I remember
streamers.
that.
Yeah. And I remember you talking about Counter-Strike in specific, where
Right.
you were like, we already had this in CSGO. So I'm curious to know, like, how did you get into the Counter-Strike scene actually?
So Counter-Strike is just a game that I had always played. So, you know, me developing my casting skills through FIFA and actually Smash a little bit later on, because that's the thing with just esports in general and commentating, is that usually the games that you commentate aren't exactly ones that you jump ship to or you end up transitioning into. I'm a hypocrite. I jumped over to Valorant. So I had always played Counter-Strike at 2017. I'd already played the game for like 3-4 years, so it was very constant in I guess my development in middle school. So I already knew a lot about Counter-Strike and mechanics and tactics and strats, and I ended up jumping into more just online, like open IP type commentary that wasn't exactly that important and really anyone could do. So much like my Twitch channel won't only get like maybe 5 viewers. Like that was pretty pog at the time. So I would just do random games here and there. And then what I ended up discovering is that my local LAN center, that just so happens to be the LAN center that I did my first ever Smash gig in, also hosted Counter-Strike tournaments. So I thought it would be like some like really simple local thing, but it was almost exactly the same situation as me going to that Smash event. I go to the Smash event in Boston, I think that it's nothing much, and then it ends up being a PGR B tier, and they put me in fucking pools. So I go there, and this time it's actually like most of the really top tier players from the East Coast. I'm not saying like professionals, but there's some professionals here and there playing on like pug teams, and a lot of just the constant players from around the S and G rank from ESEA. So it was really daunting to me to walk into a situation like that. But you know, that's how I got my start, because that first event was actually sponsored by Nerd Street Gamers, and I work with Nerd Street Gamers to this day with Valorant. So NSG helped me a lot throughout what would be my path, aka getting me back to that LAN. And that Boston scene inspired me a whole lot more to get into Counter-Strike, because it was from there that I ended up meeting a lot of my friends online. And not only that, but also going to E-League Boston, which was the major that Cloud9 won, like the one North American major that everybody knows from Counter-Strike. So Boston is really important to my path as a commentator. Although I don't really plan on going back, I do end up, you know, kind of seeing Boston as this epicenter for me, that I was able to get into FIFA, Rocket League, Smash, Counter-Strike, all from just that one central area alone. And I might as well just give them a shout out. The LAN center is called Balance Patch. A shit ton of events happen there, but it's one of the coolest spots I know. I met some of my best friends in that one area, and I wish there was a place like Balance Patch in Orlando, purely because LAN centers to me are a dying fashion. But the more that I just want to get out of my house, I would love Balance Patch back. So yeah, that place is sick.
Yeah, especially now with COVID and everything, it's very difficult for LAN centers to actually be a thing. I don't know if you're familiar with Versus Gaming Center in South Florida, but they had recently closed. They had kind of like a similar thing going where they would also host some Counter-Strike tournaments, and they would do mainly Smash and Street Fighter, and on occasion Melee. But it's really sad to see the virus affect these places like this, because it's such prime opportunity to just bring up commentators. Like a lot of Florida commentators have, like from the Smash scene, because like I've seen them grow, they've just started out at these small little LAN centers, and they'd have something similar to you, where it's like they walk in, there's a bunch of big faces there, and then they just get on the mic and they rock it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a debut. It's just like it's just something great. Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part, right? Because my first experiences on LAN or at local Smash tournaments weren't the best, purely because my scene hated me. So
Damn.
To kind of explain
jealous?
that, I wasn't an asshole or anything. I wasn't like a dickhead. I might have been like maybe annoying. I don't want to assume what other people perceive of me, but I was never really an asshole to someone. The thing that people hated was literally my commentary. So my commentary was dog shit. Like 4 years ago, complete ass. So I would go to locals every time because I'm just like, I want to improve because I know for a fact that I have no other future. I was a fucking loser in high school. I had a decent amount of friends, but I did nothing in high school. My grades were shit. I did nothing outside of school other than work at a shitty Dunkin' Donuts. And I ended up, kind of just going to locals as a little bit of an escape and to improve at commentary every time. I would barely enter. So that environment kind of gave me, at least, although the community, not at large, but very important community members did not enjoy what I do, that's fine, because that was an open mic. If nobody's commentating, I would jump on anyways, because I just wanted to improve. And now during COVID, we don't exactly have that opportunity. I try to advertise a lot that online casting is very easy to get into, especially if you're talking about the realm of Smash and Counter-Strike. Smash has a lot of really small underground tournaments on just Smash GG that you could just stream and host yourself, or just commentate off of someone else streaming it. And not only that, but for Counter-Strike, you can just jump into any game you want, and it doesn't mean that it has to be like tier 500, like bullshitter McGee versus the cock and ballers. Like it doesn't it doesn't have to be a game like that. You could be doing Cloud9 versus E United on your own, like live. So there's a lot of platforms in games that you can actually, go out of your way and actually get experience commentating. It just takes the actual effort to do so. But it's a little bit depressing too, because again, LAN environment is like by far like the very best environment for anyone between TOs, players, or commentators to just improve as fast as possible.
Yeah, you had mentioned about the whole thing about being able to commentate different things like Cloud9 and stuff. I'm actually very familiar with that with Dota. Like people would be able to do that with Dota. There'd constantly be on the main page of Dota when you go to matchmake. It would always show things of high caliber MMR that you can just go and watch the games for while you're waiting for your game. So CS:GO, they had done something similar as well on the main menu, where it's like you can just go ahead and watch stuff. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do have that function now. Like they directly attach streams, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really something for building up a commentary career, because you could just throw that in your title, like C9 versus Team Liquid or something with a different game, just all these different things. But that actually gets me kind of into thinking like, how did you transfer over to Valorant? Like, how did that fully start up? Was it something like that where you were just watching the streams and you just started casting, or did you have connections toward it where you were able to jump in?
So that's actually a great question, because I would like to think that I was one of the very first people to jump into Valorant, period. So if I were to go back on Liquipedia, I'm actually gonna take a moment and actually see what date was my first ever tournament. So I'll look at my page over there, and at the very bottom is a tournament by Fragadelphia. First of all, Fragadelphia, great organization, once owned by Nerd Street Gamers, and they flew me out to my very first LAN. Like not my very first LAN, but the first time that I was ever flown out. So shout outs to them, and it was on my birthday too. Big tidbit. But this was in April, this was in April of last year, April the 25th. This is mid beta, if not the beginning of beta. And I had commentated the very first tournament for Fragadelphia, which ended up turning into the Pittsburgh Knights tournaments. So I jumped on very early into Valorant purely because I saw the potential career-wise, and I saw the potential as just a pure tactical FPS. I am not exactly a hardcore like Counter-Strike guy. Like I'm not a veteran. I've been around for a while, but you know, the thing about Counter-Strike that a lot of the people that jumped over from Counter-Strike will tell you is that CS is boring. Like CS has been the exact same game for, I would like to say, 10 years now. Like they've changed it up like in minute fashions, like with maps and whatnot, but even that they haven't done in a while. They'll replace one map in the pool and they won't refresh it at all. A lot of the maps just stay the same, and all the strategies stay the exact same too. All the smoke execs, there's nothing new to learn. Essentially, it's just round after round, you're just trying to find frags, which is great actually in theory, because you're watching a shit ton of kills, and really the best of the best teams are going to be the ones that win. But it gets very tedious. But with Valorant, even a year in now, people are still innovating. People are still finding out what the fuck works in this game. And I mean, that's the thing that intrigued me the most, that I can jump on and I can be a pioneer of what might be this brand new esports for years to come. That's how I saw maybe like Overwatch at the beginning, where if I had made that jump into Overwatch, I might be in a different spot in my life right now. But I had never jumped into Overwatch. I had never jumped into a new game. Valorant was just my opportunity to really test myself in how I like to carry myself as a multi-esport commentator. Lots of commentators like to stay in one esport. I like to stay in multiple, purely for not only my career, but also because I like studying. I like finding out what new games are all about, and really what's the mentality switch between either one. It takes me a while. I essentially have to take like 4 days before or tournament, like a new game, to essentially get my mental back into things. But you know, Valorant for me was an easy jump, and I took it from the very bottom level. I wasn't doing like top tier events or anything like that, purely because there were none. I was just doing gigs for free at the beginning of Valorant, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's actually like a pretty cool way to start out with a game, and I honestly respect that decision of just jumping in. You know, like you see something that has a lot of potential, and a lot of people, like as you had said, did see that with Overwatch. I know just from a Team Fortress 2 background, a bunch of people who were trying to take TF2 seriously for years. The game did not introduce a competitive mode. They ended up doing it in like 2017, but Overwatch did their launch, and a lot of Team Fortress 2 and other similar game, like people who played similar games, they ended up jumping into Overwatch because of the promise that they saw from it. Not only that, the fact it was Blizzard as the dev, but it's like, you know, it's just a very class-based shooter that it was very easy to jump into, and there was a lot of different things that just a lot of people just didn't know. And you were also saying discoverability about different options and things, and how CSGO is somewhat limited in that. Valorant, you know, as you said, just there's so many things that still are yet to be discovered. So it's like, it's a really smart call to just go and be like, you know what, I'm just going to jump into this and see what happens, you know. And so far it's been going really good for you.
Yeah.
So far. Yeah.
Yeah. Never in my life did I think that I would be working directly with the developer of a video game, like the AAA game. And within, I want to say within 2 years, 3 years of me even starting, I'm already working like with Riot. So I have I have zero clue how that happened. Like I get that people talk about like work ethic. God, see, I'm a commentator. I can't even talk. English isn't even my first language, by the way. But yeah, it's this weird dynamic to me where, you know, Valorant is coming at me like fast. Like I do not know how to react to different things in my career now, like different milestones. I'm just trying to take it and just work towards the next one instead of like reminiscing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, now that I made it into challengers, my next step is making it into masters. If I make it into masters, I want to make it into champions. I want to keep working bigger and bigger events, and Valorant thankfully like just gave me that platform. In Counter-Strike, I don't want to make it seem like you just can't make it in CS, but because of how the system works with tournaments, and how certain commentators have already made it to the top tier. Like, again, we're talking about an almost 10-year-old game in terms of CSGO and a 20-plus-year-old game with Counter-Strike in general. There are commentators out there that have been there for a while, and they are 100% certainly better than you, and they will always will be. That is one thing that I'm just going to have to live with for the rest of my life, that there are Counter-Strike commentators that will always be better than me, and I don't have to be like them. But what that also means is that they take your jobs. So ESL Pro League, IM, whatever it may be, they already have their commentators. They don't plan on switching anytime soon. They're not going to take a risk with a tier 2 guy fresh into Counter-Strike, especially nowadays. But what you can do is at least make your way up the system, get yourself at least some experience, and try your hand at other esports. I'm not going to say that I got halted in Counter-Strike. I have a feeling that if I keep going, I could potentially make it up to that tier, but this is years down the line. But in terms of, that jump to Valorant, it essentially opened every door possible in my career that I could have ever wanted, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem like that it would have been worth it, honestly, doing like Counter-Strike for like years on end, especially since there's new games coming out every year. And not only that, but also just, especially if you're doing other things as well, like other games like Valorant or Smash, it's like, why would I use my time on this one game if I could like spread out to like several?
Right, but I'll try to counteract that, because at least with games like Rocket League, like that's cool and all, but that game like literally does not change. With Counter-Strike, the players have been playing for a long time too, and their tactics, strategies, and I guess you could say their mannerisms are something that you have to study day in and day out. So every day of my life essentially is me studying esports, and most of that time is taken up by Valorant and Counter-Strike. Why? Because those games are legitimately like they take up all of your time to try to study a singular team. Like if I'm trying to study every player from one team and take legitimate notes, that's probably going to take me like 6 hours, 7 hours out of my day. So, and that's like probably the baseline. Like I'm not getting a good idea whatsoever on how a team really plays on a map, because we have so much data and they change up their play style all the time. So, if you want to get good at a certain game, you have to put in the time, and you have to somehow find the time. You can still try your hands at doing commentary with like, with a very busy life. If you have a part-time job and you're studying, and commentary can just be that, it can be that escape, as it was for me for a while. But if you really want to become a professional in this industry, you have to almost literally dedicate your entire life, and you can't really waste any of that time by playing other games or studying other games. You can play other games for sure. I mean, you still have your free time. You're a freelancer. You do whatever you want. But it just the process of going into a tournament with tier 1 teams is very strenuous, and you have to really, really prepare.
You see, I was gonna I had this question where I was like, what are some tips that you'd be able to give future commentators? But it's just like you just nailed like everything. Like everything that a future commentator would need, just right there within that like 5 minutes of you talking. It's just that's honestly awesome, man. Like,
yeah, I guess. I sound very detrimental when I talk about casting, but that was just like my experience. I can't really vouch for anyone else, especially like I can point to like a couple of names in Counter-Strike that just like blew up in this last year, and super proud of them. They found their gap right when everyone was like dedicating themselves to Valorant. I don't dedicate myself to Valorant. I still keep on with both Counter-Strike and Valorant, but some of the guys that really put in the time, and for completely free, by the way. That's the thing. Like I'm able to live right now off of esports, but that's purely because of like the distance that I went to get here. That's purely because of the events that I'm doing. But these guys are putting in, the same, if not more time than me, actually doing just open games. So again, huge shout outs to those guys, and they honestly deserve everything that's coming at them in the next year. They're gonna get a whole lot more gigs, and can't wait to work with the younger guys out there, because I know for a fact that if you just have a very good work ethic and you're always looking to improve, like casting is definitely the way to go, because your career can go in a shit ton of different directions if you're just dedicated and you're just ready to work.
So something you had mentioned earlier, actually, that I was curious about, because like I had met you at the Smash tournament. You know, like we had talked a bit on Twitter, and I had met you at Smash. But you've had experience with both Counter-Strike and Valorant, and also working, you know, with, you know, higher up in Valorant. So I was actually curious, how does it feel like casting for games where you actually have dev support compared to looking into games like, let's say, like Smash or like, you know, Ultimate, Melee, whatever Smash game it may be, where you don't really have that support? What is like the massive difference that you feel? And also, do you feel like people who are jumping into those games, is it a smart decision for them to continue, or should they look into different avenues that are similar?
All right, I need to
take your time.
I need to prepare myself for this one.
It's kind of a loaded question.
So loaded question, to say the least. Okay, how do I explain this? A game with dev support obviously is the better game. Does not matter. Does not matter, you know, how popular the game is. Does not matter, you know, how many viewers you're getting. The game that legitimately has dev support for the community is going to be the better game inside and out. So, sorry to say this, Super Smash Brothers, stop. like they do not support their communities at all. Like the local community, the top tier community in terms of esports, none of the casual community at all. So when it comes down to specifically Smash, which I know that you were insinuating, yeah, no, it's great to get your start as a commentator. Just ask last, actually, and ask myself. It's great to at least get a start and potentially just get in that time, because there's a lot of unpaid opportunities in that region, and not a lot of people dedicate themselves to commentating that game. But there's a good reason why, because you will never be able to make a career out of it. Like, sorry. The only people that have made it in Smash are those that put in a shit ton of time. And when I mean a shit ton of time, they came in very early into Smash and they consistently do the S tier events. You see the exact same lineup again and again and again for every single major. And the only time that it changes is outside of like top 16, top 32. You're not getting anywhere farther than that. And you're not getting paid the rate that you're supposed to. The amount of viewers that Super Smash Brothers gets is exponentially larger than a whole lot of communities out there, than a whole lot of esports. But when we're talking about like potentially Brawlhalla has so much developer support. It is a fun game and the community thrives purely because of the developer support. I would be like, I would like to think that Brawlhalla would have died like 2-3 years ago without dev support for the esports community. So they kind of carried that forward again and again. They realized that their sponsor money or whatever money that they allocate for advertisement, they put that into esports essentially, and that works. It is exponentially better than just watching Nintendo just, you know, repeatedly just throw out like new game after, you know, and then supporting Splatoon as an esport somehow, and why, and then having all of these tournaments happen, and then the controversy happens last year for like a solid month and they don't say anything. Like for games like Valorant, do you realize how quickly like any sort of controversy gets shut down? Just look at what happened to Sinatra last week. One day it took him to get suspended by Riot themselves and by his team. You take that into Super Smash Brothers, we're talking about that process being about like at least half a year to a year to never happening. So you have a much safer community, you have a stable community, and as a commentator, I'm always going to be supporting the community that has the developer backing.
And that is like the perfect answer for that, in all honesty. That was
it's unfortunate. I made my stance known about Smash. I hate everything about the esports scene there. Because it just doesn't exist. I love the local scene. Like the local scene is the most genuine thing I've ever seen out of video games, but that's all it is, right? Like it's it's cool to be like friends around that region, right? But you're not gonna get anything other than that.
And also what you had said about Smash, like you can't like do it as a full-time career. There's someone who I saw that kind of contradicted what you had said about the same lineup over and over again with top eights, and that's someone actually Vicky Kitty, who I saw.
Sure, yeah.
She grew up like, you know, in the commentary scene. She started with South Florida and a bunch of different events in Florida, and then she, you know, mastered the top 32s, like top 64s, top 16s, and she was getting top eights. Meanwhile, she was constantly getting like a bunch of like shit in like Twitch comments and stuff, but she just kept on getting better. She just kept on getting better. And then now she's doing Overwatch stuff. Like, she transitioned games. Meanwhile, all these other people are just like there's like EE, for example. EE, instead of doing a bunch of commentary, he's just streaming now. And
Right.
he's getting them subs. He's getting them subs like EE, TK, like even Coney is getting on the streaming game too. So it's just like, I am not seeing a lot of Smash top commentators be able to just like, they have to do something else in order to generate that kind of revenue. So yeah, dev support is much needed.
Yeah.
Controversy of what happened recently, like the last couple of months, and that also adds to it. It's like, oh, you're from the Smash community, yeah, we don't want you to commentate for reasons, you know.
Yeah. That's definitely not something that I had to go through, purely because I keep my Smash career on the low.
Yeah. Like, there's no trade.
Like, it's very obvious whenever I get on the mic that I'm from the fighting game community, but you know, I kind of, you know, quiet down when it comes to talking about like, oh, what esports do you come from? Oh, I come from Counter-Strike and Rocket League. Yeah. Like, it's so yeah, no, that's great for Vicky Kitty. She went in at a perfect time. That jump from, you know, kind of like mid Smash 4 to Smash Ultimate, there were still a lot of commentators that needed to fill up a lot of gaps, and that included Vicky Kitty, that included Hazmat, that included a couple of West Coast guys, and you know, they did their thing. They absolutely worked towards their goal, and I unfortunately I jumped into Smash at the wrong time. Essentially, you know, incredibly late Smash 4. I mean, like 6 months before the game was over. And you know, going into Ultimate, there was just so many more opportunities out there for me that I just couldn't dedicate myself to Smash. So, you know, they jumped in at a great time. They put in the time, they put in the work, and well, I mean, that's what I'm saying about esports in general, right? That if you legitimately want to make, you know, your own living out of whatever you want in this industry, you can do it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a Smash commentator. It doesn't matter if you commentate QWOP. You're going to make it. Like, at some point, you can make your own community, or you can make your way up the ladder. Like, it's just a matter of work ethic, which I find to be kind of the hardest thing for me, at least, because, you know, I had never been one to really, you know, be a hardworking person. But then when it came to commentary, I found my passion and I really started pursuing it.
So with us talking about Smash, that kind of gets me thinking about more like grassroots scenes and games. I'm honestly curious. This may be kind of like off there kind of question, but I'm gonna just throw it your way. Are there any games that are kind of like underground that if you could somehow bring them to life, whether it be an old game or something that is coming out soon, what kind of game would you love to see a spotlight and cast for if you could?
Oh, that's such a tough question. Farming Simulator. No. I saw that tweet the other day, and like, I want to learn Farming Simulator. Like, I want to do this shit. That shit's like, it sounds fun. But I would have said Brawlhalla a couple of years ago, but dev support. That's what it does. So I'm trying to remember what games that I'm into, because I'm not really a supporter of like one really low ground, like underground community. Actually, what do you guys think? Because I have none right now.
When it comes to new games, I would say Guilty Gear Strive. I definitely
for sure
that game flourish. Which is also, would you commentate that? If given the
I've never gone into like a pure FGC. The most experience I have in that realm is Street Fighter 5. So if I wanted to commentate Guilty Gear, I would definitely go out of my way and do it, because Guilty Gear is a sick game, dude. Like, the fact that we actually have good internet connection in a fighting game in the year 2021 is all that I need.
Yeah, absolutely. And they immediately listen to the lobby things. They're like, all right, give us 2 more months, lobby's fixed. And the online's fixed. Even better. I'm like, all right, perfect, cool, all I needed. But yeah, I would say Strive. That's definitely the game. When it comes to fighting games, Guilty Gear Strive's probably going to flourish. So I would love to see that game being commentated. Underground games, not so much though, because I don't think there's a lot of games that like underground that truly deserve to be in the spotlight right now, except like maybe like older fighting games, like maybe like Street Fighter, like First Strike or something like that. But even then, I feel like when it comes to like the mainstream games that like died down, I don't really think they need to come back per se.
No.
Like we don't need a CSS tournament. Like we don't need that.
No.
You know?
Yeah. Tetris.
Okay, Tetris is hype.
Tetris, exactly.
I need more Tetris tournaments. Get me on the goddamn mic. I want to commentate Tetris. That shit is so sick. That is actually so sick. Like what I would give everything to commentate like Tetris World Championships. Put that on the table right now. I will dedicate my life to commentating Tetris if I had the opportunity to do so.
I respect that answer a lot. So, I'm thinking here, like, I'm thinking about changing course a little bit in types of questions to kind of go a bit more into like kind of like a you thing, because we mentioned like your background and stuff, but now I'm thinking like your image. How did you form your image with that afro? What inspired that? And honestly, how do you maintain that, especially throughout COVID?
Like, first of all, I don't. For those watching this, I don't know if there's going to be an audio version and a video version. For those watching the video version, my hair is trash today. So it's very dry, not very up to form. I would usually use this baby to really get things going. But how I ended up, kind of, working out the afro. So, okay, let's talk about my family first. I'm a Brazilian, full-blooded. Both of my parents were Brazilian. And when you think of Brazilians, you do not see this complexion. You did not see a pasty white male with ginger hair. But that actually does happen a lot. So my grandfather is actually Italian, northern Italy. He was ginger and his hair was very curly. And the thing with that ginger gene is that it gets passed down. So when I have my mom that has blonde hair and my dad that has brown hair, and all of a sudden they make this ginger baby, I'm a disappointment. So how to further make myself a disappointment is I end up growing out an afro. And my parents hated like having a like at least like a little bit smaller hair. Like even like a 1 inch width was already enough for them. So yeah, family reunions or whenever I go back home, heart attacks. So like I swear to God, I have to sleep with one eye open because I know for a fact that they could come in with like a pair of scissors and just go at it. So yeah, no, the way that I ended up building this up is because I had always wanted like a big head of hair, and I know for a fact that at least the afro in my family has been around for a while. And if I had like a different color of hair, I would still very much go for it. But my hair is very naturally curly. If it grows out a little bit too long, it's not going to grow flat. It's going to be an afro shape. And whenever I do actually treat it well, it's exactly what I would want for a broadcast. It's very marketable, it's on brand, and that's all that matters, right? Because whenever someone thinks of, oh, do you remember that one commentator with the afro? I'm the only one. So I win that battle. It's good for Google too. It's good for searches. I have it in my Twitter bio for a reason. I can market it for as long as I want until I go bald.
Absolutely. You said you wanted to keep the afro regardless of anything, right? Did you ever think of coloring it though, like pink or any color like that? Because I can't imagine. I think that would look absolutely ridiculous, but I can't imagine it. Well,
that's the thing, right? That would ruin my hair forever because you have to bleach it. And I would never be able to kind of get back the red color. So yeah, people have always told me like, do you straighten your hair? Do you plan on cutting it soon? And cutting it, absolutely. Because the thing with like big hair in general is that you always have to maintain. And I haven't been able to do that. I haven't been able to go to a barbershop, or at least one that I trust, that can maintain this. So I'm currently trying to find one in the Orlando area, but otherwise, like I don't plan on, cutting it down too much in terms of length. I don't think about like coloring it, and I might shave it off one day It would probably be for a shit ton of like charity money though. And there is a charity drive that happens, or a charity stream that happens once a year in November. It's called Mustache Masters, and I've already promised them if they give me the right price, I will put up my hair on that donation list. And last year I think they got like $50,000. So I'm thinking bigger than 50K, but that would be like the ultimate goal. Like that, I want to be big enough just so that I could get like 1K or 2K people watching a stream of just me getting bald.
How long would it take to grow that back?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. That's probably a hot minute.
It would take a year. It would take a year and a half.
Right. Okay. That might take a hit because then people are like, wait, did the Afro?
What happened to Afro Man?
Yeah, did the Afro kick a ball? People can't search anymore. The search is sweating. They're like,
the last person that committed to anything hair related on that stream, he used to have this thick, like lumberjack type beard, and you literally cannot you don't recognize him anymore after he went through that stream because he had like such a trademark beard, and after that entire thing got like shaved off for a stream, he has never been the same human. Never. He probably, all I know is that my boy Jackson probably sleeps, he probably has nightmares in and out just remembering times where he did have a beard, and I would be the same. I would be the same. So I don't want to go through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, like, in theory, right? If you were to get that shaven off and it was for charity, let's say you got thrown, like, they hit a goal of, like, 95K or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could, as a gag, until it starts growing back, like, halfway, you could go to, like, Party City or something, get one of those fake afros.
Fake Bob Ross afro, yeah.
Fake Bob Ross, because, people will understand it and they'll respect it, because they're like, Upmind, the afro guy, raised all that money for charity, putting the hair up on the line, they'd respect that. So it's like, even though, like, you would shave it off, you still have options for it to still keep that, like, signature kind of look. It just wouldn't be fully the same, but
see, but if that were to happen to me, I would probably wear a beanie. That's like something that I used to do a lot in high school, is just wear a beanie, because I would get a haircut and it would be way too short. Like, I could not look myself like in the mirror after getting a haircut, because I had always wanted my hair to be big, and my parents hated it. So they would always make me get a cut, and I would wear like a beanie for like 3 weeks, get it to like a pretty decent size, and then take off the beanie for like 2 weeks until my parents make me get a haircut again. So that's why I hate haircuts, because my parents stink. Yeah, fuck parents. I'm my own man now. I pay for my own Discord Nitro.
I'm my own Discord admin. I pay for my Discord admins.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't really get that. Like, how do parents just be like, yeah, that looks bad? Like, it doesn't. Like, everyone looks at it, and overall you get compliments for your afro usually, right? Right.
Well, yeah, like usually when I don't just wake up for a recording for a podcast, but so yeah, usually it looks fine, and like I maintain it. Like I take pride in like actually like styling my hair and like actually making it look good. So that's one thing that my parents never really trusted me with. That like this dumbass kid, dude, he can't even. I'm trying to compare something. I was gonna say like an innuendo or something, but I'm gonna go right past it. I can't do anything on my own. I wasn't a responsible human being, so how would I be responsible with a shit ton of hair? Is what I'm trying to say.
I mean,
so
okay. That's like, I mean, like
that's how it happens.
The hair shouldn't really matter that much when it comes to that, but I mean,
you guys are very tall, handsome, and sexy. I mean, you guys have it. You guys have everything going. You got the bun going, which, shoot, like that. I just want to come over at this point. That's prime.
I mean, that's for after the podcast. We can't show that right now. Like, that's some 18+ shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Patreon exclusive right there, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
The podcast exclusive, the coming over.
The coming over. One of these days. One of these days.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, while we're at the topic of that, you mentioned you live in Orlando right now, right? At the current moment. Did you ever consider moving to a spot that maybe is better, or are there better places for you actually to be a commentary, like specific place where you could live, like Vegas, LA, etc? Anything in like the prospect of that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because there definitely is. LA would be a very prime spot to be around for commentary, especially with all the esports studios that are around and the overall events that happen on the West Coast region. But another spot that I would probably go to would actually be probably like Dallas, Texas, or Houston, purely because again it's starting to become that one esports region where a lot of teams are starting to kind of house themselves at. And you know, if the esports teams are there, they're going to advertise a whole lot more. They're going to vouch for a whole lot more events being around that region. And with Orlando, like, or Florida in general, there's not many teams from the Valorant sphere, from the from the Counter-Strike sphere. So for me personally, I would probably go to LA, purely because I see myself as being very multifaceted. I have a very wide resume, so I would probably be, you know, very flexible to whatever offers I would get. Like, hey, 1 week, do you want to come over to this convention and like just be a presenter for us, or host this panel, or, you know, host this booth for us? I can do that. And then the next week, like, just a Counter-Strike tournament in downtown LA, like I can do that. So, you know, that happens very consistently around that region. And overall, I mean, I'm not going to say that regions, you know, matter all too much in esports, but you know, it's just that stereotype. It's the same thing with YouTubers, where, you know, just the place to go has to be like LA or, you know, Dallas.
It's starting to become Vegas now when it comes to place to YouTubers, because
Vegas too,
yeah, because there's no state income tax. Let's go Vegas.
No state income tax. Houses are cheap as hell. Like, I don't even
pay taxes, baby. Woo! I'm sorry. I know my FBI agent is listening. I'm sorry. I pay my taxes. Oh, Lord Jesus. Yeah, no, that's good. New Hampshire actually could be the esports epicenter of the world, because they also have no income tax.
Nah, probably Vegas, but you know, we're
probably Vegas.
Look, man, I just want an excuse to go to New Hampshire. All right.
I mean, hey. I heard there's a cowgirl cafe in New Hampshire. You know, I'm down for a vlog.
True.
I'm
True.
Down
whatever it may be, you want to travel across the United States and just go to the biggest like bumfuck regions around. Like, don't go to LA, don't go to Vegas, don't go to, you know, any capital city. Let's just go to the most, you know, out of place spots in the United States. Like,
Alabama.
What the fuck is a Wyoming? Like, have you ever met someone from Wyoming? I swear to God, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Wyoming just doesn't exist.
People in Wyoming stay in Wyoming. It's like the hidden rule, probably.
I know someone in the comments is from Wyoming and they are molding. If that person even exists.
They probably heard that enough. It's like, I don't.
I've never met someone from Wyoming. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I've heard of people from Idaho, but not fucking Wyoming.
Do people from Idaho have an accent?
I don't know.
You never met someone. I mean,
Idaho.
I'm European. Like I haven't met shit.
It's almost like Canadian, maybe. They like potatoes a lot. I know that's their thing.
Yeah.
It's like an Irish thing too, man.
So it's like the Germany of USA. Great.
The Germany of the USA.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's all Germany is mostly known for, which is like, oh yeah, potatoes. Yeah.
See, that used to be Ireland before the famine hit, before the Fire Nation attack. So I mean, that's like, you know, that what can you do? I guess they all just migrated to Germany. So
absolutely, you know, yeah.
Idaho's weird. What other places would we try to go to? Because I'm feeling Wyoming. I'm feeling Idaho, like Rhode Island. What is a Rhode Island?
I know somebody who lives there. TJ lives there.
No shot. I know someone from Rhode Island too, but that's because I'm from New England. But that's like that in Delaware just don't exist.
I mean, at least you
the midget states don't matter.
at least you hear of Delaware every once in a while. Like, I've never heard of a Wyoming news. Like, when's the last time?
Right, yeah, like, what's happening out of Wyoming?
In defense of Rhode Island,
Mm.
that's the place of Family Guy. Family Guy takes place in Rhode Island.
Oh, so yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, you're absolutely right.
You can't insult Peter Griffin like that. Like, what the fuck?
I'm not gonna cancel Peter Griffin. I will actually retract my statement. Rhode Island is probably the best state out of the United States.
Rhode Island's base.
It's the most representative state, that kind of encapsulates the American culture. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like how we're making progress here. Like I've come around.
We're planning a road trip at this point, honestly. Like
road trip, Rhode Island.
A road trip. We're starting a road trip from Rhode Island all the way to Wyoming and back, and
that could happen. That could happen.
It's gonna be a hellish trip. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's
I'm not gonna enjoy myself, but I want to say that I did it. I could meet a person from that region, not like online or something. Because I mean, fuck it, dude. Like, if I meet someone from Wyoming on Twitter, they're catfishing me. 1000%. They are lying. I need to go to Wyoming and I need to find out if someone exists from that place.
I can't wait for you to go to Wyoming, or all of us. We find like the first person. We're like, yo, can we take a picture of you? I post on Twitter, met someone from Wyoming.
Oh my god, they exist.
My day's been made.
Just be like, just be like that one time Logan Paul went to Japan, just like fuck shit up. It's a totally whoa, you guys drive cars? Whoa. What's that about a forest?
Y'all got land? Fuck.
Yo. Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. We spoke of traveling, so let's get into the next question.
Sure.
Okay. Are there actually any events that you would like to attend in like the next couple of years, especially like get not really like attend, but more like get flown out to attend as like commentator,
like work. Yeah.
Is it like anything off your bucket list that you still haven't done?
Bucket list for sure is like E3, a CSGO major, which again is going to be years down the line. At least I would like to think in my career. So that's definitely like hard bucket list. But E3, like I mentioned, I just want to work for like a company. I want to do like what they would do for like EA Play or like Microsoft, where I'm just like one of the people like presenting something on the side or like hosting like a lounge. I just feel like that entire line is right up my alley. Where I just want to be kind of that eccentric figure. Like, look at me, I'm down here in downtown LA in the back of an alley,
gaming.
I found some weird substance, but it's definitely G Fuel. Back to you for the Totinos. Play the game, like something like that. Like, what else was I thinking? Because I said E3 already. Like, that's like top of the list.
Yeah.
But, definitely a CS:GO major, a Valorant major, which again hasn't happened yet physically. It technically is going to happen for Masters, but I've already chalked that off. I'm definitely not going to be working that. At least I think. And God, this one's tough. I always wanted to work Evo, but I don't think that's happening.
It might, but I don't know. Yeah.
Is Evo coming back?
Probably. I mean, here's the question: when the hell are offline tournaments coming back in the first place? Like, that's.
I mean, that's just like COVID in general, right? Because
pretty much.
we have vaccines coming soon, so we could actually have physical events, by the end of this year.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'll be looking forward to them, honestly. I'll very much look forward to that. Question is just, is it going to take a hit for esports organizations, or is it going to like thrive? Because I honestly think for some games, it's definitely going to go down.
Hit. Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of
you can't make a comeback from that.
Yeah, a lot of orgs made their brands and their living off of online tournaments, and it'll be almost impossible for them to really transition to the physical space, because they, that's almost literally it. They need physical space, they need venues, they need connections, and they don't exactly, have that yet. They haven't even worked towards that. So, and with all of these communities being very international or being very centralized towards one region, you're not exactly going to get too many opportunities for organizations to move that popularity over to a physical event. And I'm just going to say this now. At the very beginning of COVID, we're going to be seeing a lot of tournaments from top tier organizations that we need to take advantage of. But for grassroots organizations that have made their living online, they are simply going to struggle at the very beginning. They're not going to get supported as much. They're not going to get the same attendance as before. They're not going to get the same platform. And then we're going to realize again that we've come back to the same cycle that it was before COVID, where the tier 1 events are ran by the top tier organizations, that are ran by the DreamHacks, by the ESLs. And, we have to support those companies a whole lot more, because we have games like Super Smash Brothers that aren't hosted by those companies at all. DreamHack tries their best, but they don't get any stipend from Nintendo. Thus, they don't have any inspiration or motivation to really advertise that a whole lot more. So, it's going to be tournament organizers like those that we need to keep very close to us, and we can't exactly reject going back into the physical sense, because Team Liquid's not hosting any locals. We're not going to get that. We're not going to have Space Station Gaming or anything like that. We're going to be back to like Xanadu's. So, it'll be tough to get back into the groove of things, especially for the newer players and the newer organizations. But, I think within a year of events being back, we're going to be able to kind of solidify the scene a little bit more.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, especially like for majors and whatnot. Yeah, we're always touching on Smash again. Like, it's just coming back to back.
It's always around, right? But there's not much to actually talk about in terms of like the pro scene right now. We're just talking like the metaphorical.
People are literally taking the occasion, me included, when it comes to like anything Smash related right now. Like, except making content, obviously, but like,
yeah,
a competitor. I've been doing like I've just been playing the game. That's it. And just every now and then, people ask me like, do you want to do Wi-Fi tournament? I'm like, I'm not gonna sit in 20 frames of delay. Like,
no. Like my roommate doesn't compete online. He actually refuses to do so, but he puts a lot of time into just labbing Smash, and that's cool. I get it. Smash is a great game to actually play. It's one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. But is there an actual worth to actually doing all of that labbing? No. He's a Ganon player. First off, it's not happening. No matter what happens, it's not happening.
Damn.
But
oh, man.
Look, all I'm saying is that whatever dedication that players actually have into Smash right now, like unless you're actually playing Wi-Fi tournaments, there's nothing for you to really do. Like, I hate that that's our only option right now.
Yeah, they should take it to another game, in my opinion, where I'm like completely
take
honest.
Those talents to Brawlhalla. 1000%. I'm not kidding. Take that talent to Brawlhalla. You will finally realize what esports is all about and your potential as a competitor in terms of your own financial situation. For the kids that like struggle and they keep talking shit on Twitter for nothing. Like, they're talking shit on Twitter over a tournament that is giving out like $50 for first place. You could go to Brawlhalla and you could start talking yo shit over thousands of dollars. So, kind of compare the two. One's more valuable than the other. Bigger number, smaller number. So I think it's really as simple as that. Smash is a great game, but we're simply not getting that support.
Absolutely. Again, if we're touching on fighting games again, I would honestly say in that case, a lot of people, especially Smash players, have been waiting for Strive right now. And I'm one of those people where it's like, Strive is going to have more money. Strive is going to have dev support absolutely already. Like, that's already there. It has rollback netcode, the best netcode. Good netcode.
The best one.
I can play with people from Japan and I'm from like the West Coast, and I'm from Austria, and it works. It's perfect. If I did that in Smash, I would be playing on 5 frames. Like, literally, like I would move, and then like half a year later, now my button came out. Like
oh, there it is.
It's awful. It's awful. Jesus. Absolutely. So it's a good way to like transition over to that, and I hopefully that keeps and stays that way until like either the game dies out and Nintendo listens, which won't happen, or other games are just gonna take over. And from my perspective, other games are just gonna take over. when it comes to fighting games, at least. Other games have already been prospered for years. So if you want to get anything like a shooter or a MOBA or something, you can't just get into that and try to be competitive. There is a lot more opportunity for you there, money-wise, sponsor-wise, etc. The only thing that you can really make out of any fighting game that doesn't support rollback netcode right now is content. That shit always works. You can go in Dragon Ball FighterZ and make content, gets you a lot of views. I was a test subject of that immediately. In other games too. But yeah, which leads me to that. So you mentioned you do a lot of commentating and also like in itself watching teams in order to gain, data from them and whatnot in order to just, be able to commentate as much as possible. Let's go more into the free time aspect if you even have any. What are like your top 3 favorite esports to actually spectate when you don't have to work yourself? Is it still the same games or is it other games?
Well, it's definitely a mixture of the same games, but I'll like switch it up a little bit. So I love Rocket League. I'm not really working in Rocket League all too much, and I love watching Rocket League because it's just a thing that you can turn your brain off and just watch. Just like flippy cargo goal. Like you get it. So no matter what state of mind that I'm in, I can always enjoy a game of Rocket League. I think otherwise, man, what do I enjoy? What do I enjoy in terms of esports to watch? I do like watching League, although I don't watch League. Like I just don't play League at all. Like I don't understand the game. Okay. I just get the objective and I just want to keep up with the community. I just want to keep up with like what's going on. So if something blows up on Twitter, I'm in there just like, oh yeah, by the way, I know about League, although I don't. So, but it's also I love listening to the commentators from League. And that's one weird thing about us commentators is that we'll actually we'll actually mold our interests around like what the commentary is like. So, you can kind of notice that like the top games that I'm going to be watching or listening to are the ones with like the very best commentators. So I love Overwatch. I love League of Legends. I love Rocket League. I love watching Valorant, dude. Like that is like, although of course, like I'm also working those like same top tier events. Like I'm watching those games every single time. Like I will, back out of a responsibility to watch a Valorant top tier game purely because it's that entertaining and the casters are just that much better. Like my colleagues, I never really imagined that I would be working with some of them to this day. And, they just impress me every single time with the amount of analysis, with like kind of the tempo and the passion that they actually have into it. So yeah, kind of running it down, Rocket League, League of Legends, and I cheated Valorant.
I mean, like, if you're gonna be casting a game so often, it's got to be a game that you love watching, right? As well,
yeah.
So.
If I really had to make the list of like what I liked, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Smash. I love watching Smash.
Yeah, Smash is pretty high.
I always come back to it. Because it's just that one game where like I think for generations we're gonna be kicking ourselves for the amount of space that or at least the amount of progress that we ended up making in this community, but how stunted we were, because we always look at these like top prize pools and we're just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, how are we not earning that exact same money for the same viewership? And how is a multi-billion-dollar corporation in Nintendo not able to support this? Like, I don't get it.
Don't want rather than like it's just a straight up we don't want to do anything. Like
no.
They're in their old mindset pretty much. I'm pretty sure it's just like their mindset of like not party game.
What needs to happen is we had the whole thing with Slippy with the whole thing with netcode and stuff. Slippy feels phenomenal.
Not only fucking rocks.
It's epic. Yeah. Not only that, it's like you're also doing like what I do whenever I play Melee. You're also able to turn on things where it's like training mods, like not necessarily like a mod, but like you're able to do the code, like the thing where you're able to see auto L cancel. So it's like that doesn't show up on the other person's screen. Meanwhile, you're still playing fine and stuff. But something I would love to see absolutely is we've been seeing people who are into making small games, like people who made Rivals are interested in Smash. Like yes. I'm pretty sure the people who were from Brawlhalla are interested. There's also other different games, platform fighters have been happening, like Slap City, for example, all these different games.
Yes.
Not only do I wish that Smash players would show support toward these, I also am kind of in hopes that there's a company that would make something very similar to Melee. Like, if they just somehow don't completely knock off how the top tiers in Melee play, but make something very similar that Smash players could transition to, I think that would be absolutely not only a great avenue for players, but also a great commentary avenue as well for people to transition to and get that bank from dev support.
Right.
That would be sick.
Question is, how realistic is that going to happen? Because one of the biggest things for Smash is the characters, and you cannot recreate. Like, it's
that's the thing that holds me down, right? We have literally the best character lineup in any video game ever, dude. Like, this is like, I would be remiss to say that Smash Brothers is one of the best games of all time.
It is, absolutely, but
we have a gem in our hands in this generation, and it's like it's rough, and definitely another developer could step up to the plate and do that. I mean, ask the Brawlhalla devs, ask the Rivals devs. Like, they got it down. Like, they were small developers when they ended up making those games. Like Dan, he ended up like making Rivals like essentially by himself, and then he ended up getting his own company out of it and his own development team out of it, and look at them now. Like, they legitimately have some of the best competitions to watch out of the FGC period. And I mean, we have the passion in the scene. Like, we just have to focus our efforts somehow, and we have the right people running it. We just need a little bit more support.
I don't see that happening, but like, I'm somebody who's extremely optimistic, and I'm like, yeah, Mario Party is gonna get sponsored before Smash. Like, like
that's probably gonna happen. Like, when physical tournaments come out, like, DreamHack's gonna have like a sponsored Mario Kart tournament, or a sponsored. Not saying that the Mario Kart scene is trash. I fucking love watching Mario Kart, by the way. I would not actually be against Mario Kart being like a legit esport, but like, we'll probably see like Splatoon 3 and Mario Kart 8 and fucking Mario Party getting sponsored before Smash.
Mario Kart 8 deluxe commentary. He got the blue show.
What?
I'm looking out for the Mario Party Treehouse Invitational. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm already I'm already in the works with Nintendo on that. I'm definitely featured like on the Mario Part 12, Mario Party 15, on the Switch.
Nintendo Treehouse exclusive invitation.
Exclusive.
Yeah, they have a prize pool of $10,000 for the first place, and it's great.
No, it's 10,000 eShop points. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry.
True.
They did. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. In Nintendo, they confused the currency. I get it, absolutely. Like, it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Like USD, eShop points. What are the difference?
Honestly, there's no difference at that point, right? It's just it's just like $100 instead of $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, they did give away a Pro Controller at Evo Japan first.
God, dude, the Smash scene is just a joke. Oh my God, one of the best Smash tournaments, like in recent history. Evo Japan, Pro Controller. Fuck it, man. Oh my God.
They sit down there and they're like, with the team, they're like, okay, we gotta come up with a prize pool. Sakurai is like, yeah, I mean, we got enough money from DLCs, maybe like $1,000, and then somebody on the side is like, no, Pro Controller, but a special one.
Oh, boy, goal is shiny.
I mean, it's gonna sell for eBay for like 150 instead of 60. It's kind of worth it. It's kind of worth it. People grind for like 5,000 hours. History of Smash 4.
I need to look into this. I need to see how many of those players have actually sold their Pro Controllers. Because that Pro Controller has actually been no, there hasn't been one. There's been multiple.
Really?
So in North America, there was a tournament where the gold Pro controllers were given out. It was at PAX East 20, I want to say 18 or 19. And it was like the Nintendo Open, like, or like regional tournament, like North America Open, and just like random fucking players. Like when I mean random, there wasn't like a single like top 50 PGR player in that tournament, but they all were flown out to Boston by Nintendo, and that was like,
what?
Like I was there. Like that was like the closest thing to Nintendo actually supporting the community. But the prize was not money. It was fucking the golden Pro controllers. 4 of them were given out in North America. 4 Pro controllers were given out. So they exist. They're out there, and I need to find them ASAP.
They can't sell them. I'm pretty sure someone in eBay has tried to sell them for like a month, for like months, and they're like, I can't.
Someone would buy it, right? Like,
yeah, but like,
because I don't know what the appraisal is. Is there like actual gold in it, or is it just?
Oh, it's
like,
just gold.
It's just so there's no fucking point.
It's just, hey, it's a special edition, you know, just like you get the Smash Switch, you know.
We special. Oh my god.
Yeah. So speaking of regretful choices, you know.
Oh my god. Yeah, keep going. I was about to say, you're about to like encapsulate my life here or something, or like what? Like,
no, I mean,
yikes.
You're definitely more worth than a Golden Pro controller. Like, hey, this interview probably made us more money than the Golden Pro controller. Even.
God damn it.
Okay.
God damn it.
Yeah. So speaking of regrets, right? I think this is a good way to end this. Also, what is your actually like biggest regret? Not personally, but when it comes to commentating, is there like any like commentary set that you absolutely regret, or anything like you got fucked over by like someone, or like by a company even?
That's a very interesting question. Where, again, I don't regret the point that I'm at today in terms of esports, but like in terms of like the steps taken, one thing that I do regret is not really focusing on myself early on. So give me a second. In my career, I started off as, again, like this stream manager for this esports organization that I had never heard of at that point. But I started getting so invested into that organization that I ended up, becoming a higher up within like 6 months of me being there. And I ended up becoming the CEO. The organization was Sinai Village. And again, I don't regret what I did in that company. Like that, like everything that I wanted to achieve was achieved. And I ended up, leaving everyone happy, that a singular person has anything bad to say about their experience in the organization. But one thing that I do regret is putting in as much money and the time that I did, because during high school, I was only like 16, 17 running this organization alongside another 17, 18-year-old. And we had to make ends meet like so hard. Like it got down to the point that like we didn't even think about our future in our lives. And we were just pouring in money, like our own pocket, into this organization. And I do regret the financial struggles that we went through. I do regret, having 2 part-time jobs and just trying to substantiate that when I could have been able to really dip in a lot of that time into casting. But do I regret actually doing what I did? No, because again, everyone was happy when they left it. But at least for myself, very selfishly, my experience with Sinai Village wasn't exactly the best for my mental. But I ended up, coming out of it strong. I ended up moving to Orlando, and that is the thing that I will never ever regret. Moving out of Boston and coming into Orlando, kind of making. Oh, that was the recording. That was the recording that left. Are you guys still recording audio?
Yeah. Like, I'm still
All right.
recording on the side, so it doesn't matter.
All right. Sick. So, yeah, just continuing. I will never regret the fact that I left Boston for Orlando because I was able to really come out of my shell. I was able to live my life independently and really try to see where I could take this career with a full-time schedule, because I come to school and, it's exactly the environment that I wanted. It's a school literally based for sportscasting, for commentary in general. So every day I'm refining my skills, no matter if I'm working or not. So, whenever I come back home and, I'm just ready to study, whatever teams that I got up for the weekend after, I'm already in the right mindset. And definitely my life at home and my busy life with my organization and my work definitely didn't substantiate that. So, one thing that I heavily regret, and one thing that I don't regret at all. Like, I love the decision that I made to come to Florida. The community here is great. And if I had to pick one place to stay really for the rest of my career, if I was able to do so, would be Orlando.
That's an extremely interesting answer, especially since, like, 2 part-time jobs to keep an organization alive. Honestly, if that was me, I would have quit a while ago. I'm like, this is not worth it.
I would have quit too, but when you're in too deep, and I was the only person substantiating it. Like, I couldn't leave for the better of the players. Like, I wanted to see them happy. I wanted to see them succeed, and indeed they did. Literally, like, the best Brawlhalla player out of Brazil right now was under our organization for a year. And I was able to give him that platform. I was able to, bring him out to the United States, and me and him are really good friends. Like, it doesn't even matter that, I was really his boss or whatever for the organization. Outside of it, every single person from that organization that has passed by, I still maintain very close communication with, and that's probably the best thing about it, that I was able to meet, people that, still was there in a very professional manner, but outside of it, we had a very good relationship with one another. So, it's tough, right? When, I have no social life because of my part-time jobs, and the only thing that I can really rely on is that organization. If I drop the organization, I drop what might have been my social life at that time. So it would have been a very, big mental pain for me to, try to get out of. So, it sucks, but, it was a very good learning experience. I've never been, like, kind of wrapped into anything, shady since then, because I kind of knew how esports organizations and tournament organizers worked. Like, that's something that I just had to do as a CEO. I had to look into a lot of aspects of the esports industry in general, and you kind of see the shady shit going on. And once you actually put yourself in the lines of a freelancer and, like, an actual client, you kind of perceive things a little bit more differently. So I was I definitely took that experience in stride, and I was I was definitely able to kind of take that as far as I have. But the one thing, however, is that, yes, I haven't worked for, like, shady organizations, but there's a lot of companies that owed me a lot of money for a long time, and that's something that I expected, especially working in esports. A lot of organizations, they just simply don't have the money, that they offer you when they first approach you. So, they build that money up some way, somehow, and if they're not able to do so, they owe you for a while. So freelancing in esports can suck too, but I don't regret it at all. I love this industry. I love the community, and again, if I could do something for the rest of my life, it would be, just working as an esports commentator, because I found my niche, I found my passion, and I don't exactly want to give it up.
That's a really good answer to that question. In all honesty, that was pretty loaded. So,
that, like, you sound like that guy from Family Feud. I give, like, the most bullshit answer of all time. You're just like, good answer.
Name a
yellow fruit. Name a yellow fruit. Orange. Good answer. Thank you for being my hype, man. Orange? I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good call.
Orange.
I thought the same. Like, for a second, like, you had me there for a second. Like, no? But yeah, are there any ending words you want to say to where people either can find you, or as well as also anything you want to give to other people who are watching this podcast, like any advice But I mean, you've already given like a fair share of advice, so
You've given a lot of advice.
I've given a lot. That's kind of how I like to treat my platforms, anyways. So like on Twitch, I do a lot of conversational type content and a lot of analysis. And overall, like I'm very unhinged. I like to shitpost a lot on Twitter. So my Twitch stream is definitely the same. You can follow me, twitch.tv/Upmind. Again, kind of to encapsulate everything today, like I was a little bit, I was a little bit mean on like what are a couple of communities here and there, and just know that I feel no ill will towards those that are going out of their way and really like working towards their goals in like communities that won't even substantiate it. So I respect those that are in Smash. I respect the content creators out there that are, still able to somehow make something out of it. And I know you guys are branching out too. So yeah, follow me on Twitter too. Twitter.com/upmind_ has to be an underscore because some asshole took it. But even then, yeah, that's it for me. That's
yeah. So after the podcast, we're gonna get this Upmind guy without the underscore.
That guy hasn't been on Twitter for like since 2012. Come on, man. I'm a public figure now. I want the check mark. I
can't wait for him to make the comeback. He's like, yeah, I'm here now.
The day that I get the @Upmind tag, I will come back to the podcast. Taller, handsomer, and hotter than ever.
I mean, I don't know about the taller, but definitely handsomer.
I'll wear heels.
Wait, how tall are you actually? I'm
5'10", so.
How tall do you think? How tall do you think me and John are?
John's like 5'11".
What?
John, let him talk. Okay, 5'11", and how tall am I?
You're probably like. You're probably around the same region too. I don't see you being a tall boy. With your personality, you're definitely a tall and handsome person. But
Oh, you're wrong. We're both 6'3".
Well,
6'3"?
I'm 6'2".
I'm 6'3". He's 6'2". Yeah.
Jesus Christ. See. That's what I was thinking for John. That he actually might be taller than I remember. But yeah, it looks like I'm just the short king here. God fucking damn it.
I mean, it's all good.
Again.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be like that sometimes, it's fine.
See, no, but with my afro, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, let's go. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, like
saved.
6 feet is like the golden era. Like it's like 6 feet is perfect.
It's the point where you go from no matches on Tinder to like maybe 2. So we're getting
I'm still at no matches. So yeah.
I get matches on Tinder, but I'm not gonna lie.
Bad. I have no hope.
Really?
No hope.
Damn,
no hope.
I gotta help you out because I get matches on Tinder, but I just don't give a fuck. Like
what?
Yeah, like I'm the opposite.
Can you help John with that?
If John would listen, yeah. Like John just doesn't want to listen to me.
Okay, we got a stud. We got a stud in here. All right, might be.
I mean, like, I just don't care. Like, I don't fuck with Tinder that much, to be honest. Even though I get matches, it's just
Is this gonna be like a post credits?
It's
that's a post episode. Just like, man, I'm actually down bad. You know that?
I mean, hey, I've been getting a lot of.
Can I redo my outro and just ask just ask for people to DM me because
Oh yeah, go for it.
That's just looking dry. Hi, my name is Upmind. You can follow me on Twitter @Upmind_. Specifically to the women out there, I would like you to message me and potentially we could play some Left 4 Dead 2 sometime. It's a very cool game. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I could definitely carry you in that if you would like. Also, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Upmind. Well, I will gladly make you my e-wife and give you a shit ton of viewers.
Also, please don't forget you have to be in the legal age of 18. We do not tolerate minors in DMs.
Legal age of 18.
I'm just avoiding a case.
Appreciate it.
Look, we all love Among Us here, but we ain't about that such.
No, sir.
Yeah.
God damn it. God.
Well, thank you for having us for today's episode of the Detached Podcast. My name is Akarian, and I'm joined with the actual host today. I'm the co-host right now, Mental. And I wish you all a beautiful day. Thank you so much.